Hello and welcome to the Smoky Mountains podcast. My name is Bob Speakman, and I'm so glad that you decided to spend a little bit of your time with me, whether you're listening on your favorite podcast platform or watching on YouTube. Hello and welcome. If it's your first time finding us here, thank you for taking the time out of your day to just sit down with us, listen to a little chat about the Smoky Mountains. I think you're really going to enjoy this one. If it isn't your first time and you've been here before, welcome back. Welcome back. So glad that you decided to continue this journey with me. This interview has been recorded for a while. Right as soon as I recorded it, like within a day afterwards, I got a nasty cold. That cold turned into some sort of sinus infection, which also caused my voice to be just absolutely wrecked. So I'm finally getting over it, finally able to come back here and record this intro and the outro afterwards. So sorry for the delay. Hopefully we can crank some of these out so there won't be a long delay like the last time. But I'm just glad to be able to bring the podcast back to you. I'm glad to be able to bring you this interview. I've been sitting on it long enough and am excited for you to be able to hear it. This podcast is brought to you by allaboutthesmokies.com. Allaboutthesmokies.com is your destination website to be able to plan your vacation in the Great Smoky Mountains. Coupon codes and calendar and news from the area and so much more. Be sure to check out allaboutthesmokies.com. I'm not going to spend a long time building up this interview. So excited to be able to introduce to you today's guest. So without further ado, here's today's interview. All right, so I am so happy to be joined by our next guest. This location of our next guest is a place that's been enjoyed by many thousands and thousands of folks. My pleasure to introduce to you Chuck Winstead. Chuck, thank you so much for joining us on the Smoky Mountains podcast. You want to introduce yourself a little bit, tell about the work that you do there?
Yes, I'm Chuck Winstead. I work with Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies, and I've been here for actually 23 years. We opened 23 years ago, and I started on day one, and it's just been great watching all the additions and keeping up with the animals. I mean, we've still got sharks that we had when we first opened. We've got a lot of animals that we've had when we first opened. And another thing people don't know is we catch all of our animals. So we actually have a trip each year where we go down to the Keys, and our husbandry department goes down and catches our animals, and we keep some in the back for to put on display later. They have to be in quarantine and all that stuff. But that's one thing that a lot of people don't know is we do that. And if we find a shark down there that we don't need, we'll tag it, and then we'll go back and find it like next year.
Wow.
So it's a great place.
Yeah, that's awesome. I had no clue that was something that you guys did. So how do you go through that process of selecting animals? Like,
well, we've got professional guys that work in marine biology and in our husbandry department. They're the ones that go down. There's a crew of them that goes each year. And, you know, I've never been on that trip. We all have our opportunities eventually to go to those.
Yeah.
And, you know, that sounds great to me. I just don't know if I'd get seasick or not. So I don't know if I wanted to do that part. But they really do a good job with it. And they've been doing it so long. They're pros at it now. And, I mean, all the small fish, big fish, there's going to be a few animals that we don't catch ourselves, like I say, the octopus, things like that. Those are harder to do. But once they do get those, we put those away. But see, like octopus only live like 2 years usually. So that's one thing that we're not able to do. I guess they come from the babies. I'm not positive on that. But like our penguins, you know, we split the penguins up. We've had 20 penguins that have been born in this aquarium. And then when Myrtle Beach needed penguins, we just switched around with them. And so we all work together. We've got 3 different aquariums now with Ripley's, one in Myrtle Beach and the one here. And now we have one in Toronto.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah. I've been to a couple aquariums, and I can tell you that for me, none has matched Ripley's as far as the enjoyment, layout, just the overall experience that Ripley's provides. You guys do a wonderful job there.
It's funny too that a lot of people, I know when we first opened, people were like, "Are your fish real? Are they?" Because they thought they were like a believe it or not, like a three-eyed fish or something like that. So no, they're all real and they're not mechanical. People used to think that they were mechanical and things like that. But we do have a state of the art aquarium that it can't be beat. I mean, it really is good. We like when Myrtle Beach was our first one. So they learned over there, well, we need to do something different in Gatlinburg. And then whenever they built Toronto, they're like, hey, we're going to learn from there. And then we do have another one going. It's not been announced yet, but we do have a fourth aquarium that has been started in the United States. So we're excited about it, too.
That's awesome. So just briefly, for someone who's never maybe been to an aquarium at all, but certainly hasn't been to Ripley's, explain just a little bit about yours and what makes it so special.
Well, what makes ours special is we're open longer than most aquariums are. We're open from 9 a.m. in the morning until 9 p.m. And it's a self-guided tour. So once you come in, you just take your time and go, and it's a direct path. Once you go in, you go one direction, and you'll go through like a freshwater area, and then you'll start into the saltwater area, and you can just take your time. We have dive shows along the way that you can watch the diver dive in and feed the fish. And then there's an educator outside the tanks telling you what all's going on. We have mermaid shows from Memorial Day till Labor Day every year. And kids love that. And we just have different programs. You can even pet a jellyfish now. We have a new place where you can pet a jellyfish. And a lot of people are like, well, won't they sting you? Well, these jellyfish have special, really small stingers, so they won't sting you. And people really like that because that's a new experience too.
Yeah, getting to interact like that is amazing. And the way you guys have it laid out, I've been in others where it's kind of before you know it, you're done and it's over. But like it felt like, it's self-guided and it just takes you from one area to another. And for me, like it just felt like it would never end. It was awesome. It was awesome from one section to the next. It just laid out so well.
Yeah, that's like you'll start in the tropical rainforest, and you go into the Gallery of the Seas, and then you'll go into the Discovery Center. And another thing too about when you come one day, like if you come in this morning when we open, and you have to go eat lunch or something, your ticket's good for all day long, so you can come back and do all that stuff too. It's really cool how you can do that.
Okay.
So we have awesome. Our sharks are so popular that you wouldn't believe the penguins have taken over as the most popular animal inside of our building. It's just amazing.
Yeah, people love penguins. I know my kids when they were little, when we first went through, loved popping in the little little holes to pop up next to them and be able to see them up close like that. It's really cool.
I'm changing rooms, so we had an event happening in one room, and they're like, "Hey, go to the next room." So the aquarium's huge, so I can go anywhere.
No problem. So no problem at all.
Tropical stuff. So, but no, we have a daily penguin parade too. That's one of our biggest deals. At 1:15 every day, we march several penguins through the entire building, and we've been doing that almost 4 years. And it's just a cute little thing. And actually, one of my jobs is to lead the parade.
That's awesome.
That's a lot of fun. I get to tell a lot about the penguins, some different facts about them, and kids especially love the penguins. But you see, the adults too, just they almost cry when the penguins come out. They're so excited.
Yeah, I mean, when have you ever had that experience? I mean, it's a once in a lifetime thing for many people. I mean, it isn't anything that you're ever going to experience again. Now, changing gears just a little bit. Let's talk about the Gatlinburg fire for a moment. You guys had a scary moment. Can you walk me through that process? So the fire as it's spreading, it's starting to come down the mountain right towards the facility. Can you walk me through that decision making process and what all you guys had to do to be able to kind of try to help the animals be safe and the workers be safe? Can you walk me through that?
I never will forget that day. I mean, I was here, and at certain points you could even see across the street because it was so smoky and stuff. But we were assured that the fire would not get here because it was over across the mountain into Cherokee. And they said, "Oh, the fire's going to be over there. It's not going to come here." Well, all of a sudden, we got 90. I think it was 94-mile-an-hour winds,
Right.
and it came over the mountain, but it went up what they call the Twin Mountain type area, and it wasn't going to come down here. Well, anyway, it was more toward the evening. We had 3 people that stayed behind because Gatlinburg pretty much closed their doors at 1 o'clock because it was so smoky.
Right.
And it was about 8:30. The winds just came out of nowhere, and the 3 guys that were here, the police came in and said, "You guys have to leave. The fire's right behind you." So we have a button, which we learned it's an automatic pilot, just like kind of like an airplane. You can push this one button and everything goes on automatic pilot because there wasn't time to get all the animals out. We couldn't lift up a shark and all that stuff. And
Sure.
you would think that you could take all the penguins out. Penguins are allergic to smoke. So, and they were enclosed in their thing there. So either way, the guys pushed the automatic pilot button and walked out the back door, and the whole mountain was completely red right behind us. So, and we all had our own little cameras at home where we could watch. So, the one guy that left at 8:30 came back the next morning at 7:30, and he had to get an act of Congress just to get through where everything was shut down.
Yeah.
We lost not one fish, not one single thing happened inside of the building to our animals. And that was a big concern not just us, but the whole community. Because you know how Facebook is, somebody will say something that's not necessarily the right facts and stuff. So even me at home was going, "Uh-oh, I just saw this on Facebook." Either way, that was what happened there, and we're still recuperating, area wise from. Of course, the worst part is we lost citizens of the town.
Oh, absolutely.
And all that, and but Gatlinburg. Again, we're still recuperating. The trees, it's going to take like 20 years for the trees to grow back. Families are still recovering from their losses, and animals and things like that. But no, we have a better system here than, we all learned through that too. That I didn't know there was an automatic pilot button. I thought you had to sit right there because we've got life support people that are here all day long monitoring all the different chemicals in the water, the salt content and all that kind of stuff. But who knew that you could do that just through an automatic button?
Yeah. Would have never thought that. I remember, kind of doing what you're saying. You track it from home the best that you can, and watching as it spread towards that. And like you said, there were many reports, erroneous reports about what was going on at different places, including the aquarium there. So,
it was one thing that got us too was the loss around us. We all got together. It took 11 days. My car was still here because I was riding in the aquarium van, and my car sat here for 11 days waiting for me to get back up here to be able just to get into town. But 31 of our employees lost either their apartment, home, or wherever they live. So we were all getting clothes and shoes because they had nothing. But not only us, but the people next door at Greystone. We were all, I can remember one guy wore a size 15 shoe, and the only one he had was what he was wearing. And even the firemen that were here, some of their houses had burned while they were fighting the fires. So it was really how the area came together during that time was unreal. If you were here, living here, you will never forget how people from California were sending deodorants and toothpaste and clothes and socks. And we had a warehouse that we offered for people to use. It was full. And we supplied not just the aquarium, but everywhere in the area we supplied clothes, and so did other places too. So, that was something for the history books for sure. And anytime we get these strong winds now, or sometimes if we hear a siren going through Gatlinburg, that eeriness of it echoing through the mountains is something that'll come back to you too, because you're just like, you get that feeling again. It's like a little nervous feeling,
Yeah. I can't imagine, and the terror that comes with that. But the resiliency, and you touched on that as well. Like, talk about the sense of community that you have, because I mean, I mentioned this to Tim Harkleroad when we did our interview. How interesting it is. You know, the majority of the people that you may interact with on a daily basis are on vacation or are from out of town.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what is the sense of community like for you and those that work at the aquarium, when a lot of the people that you interact with on a daily basis are tourists?
Well, I'm sure you saw the videos of our city manager and the mayor giving the speeches about the updates each day, about the fire. What was odd about that? Cindy Ogle, she's our city manager. Her house had burnt down right away, but yet she was up there every single day giving those reports and keeping people informed. And the mayor was doing all he could do. That's what led us to, and of course, our GM and our our managers and all that. Everybody was there. But that spoke to you a lot too. And like I was saying, the firemen that were here, knowing that their houses were possibly burning down, were here fighting the fires down and keeping us safe. And then they come up with Mountain Strong or Mountain Tough slogan, and that really helped a lot. But no, we still talk about it every once in a while. It'll come up, and the anniversary of, because it was right at Thanksgiving and the driest parts of the year and all that kind of thing. But that was another thing, that every Thanksgiving we kind of get that on our mind, because Thanksgiving falls around different dates every year, and sometimes it'll fall right on that date. But either way, we've recovered, and we've we're just kind of looking forward on lots of stuff, but we'll never forget the people that were lost, and that tragedy that happened with that. That was something just you'll never get through.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose that, as unfortunate as the loss is, it's always going to bring people together and make that community a little bit stronger than it was even beforehand, and bring some closeness there, because you guys all share something. Maybe you didn't lose a house, or maybe you didn't lose a loved one, but maybe you lost something else, and everybody has some sort of loss that they went through during that time for certain. So definitely brings together that community. Thank you for sharing about that. I'm sure sometimes it's difficult to think about because of how tough it was. I'll change gears one more time here. So outside of the aquarium, what would you say is the best attraction in Gatlinburg?
Well, Ober Gatlinburg is not Ober Gatlinburg. It's Ober Mountain now, which all of our people, we've lived here forever, we'll always call it Ober Gatlinburg.
Sure.
They do too sometimes. It is really taken a turn. There's new ownership and all that stuff. The people that owned it for like 40 years, just decided it was time for new blood and all that. And so new people had bought it, and boy, are they doing some great stuff up there. I really think we're going to be the ski destination of the United States in just a few years.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, this year they've already been booked. Like their snow tubing was booked for 8 weeks straight. So and there's no parking. It's really something to watch Ober Gatlinburg turn around. But there's several. I mean, Ober Gatlinburg, the Sky Bridge, with that, the bridge that goes to the longest suspension bridge in the United States. People think they'll be scared to death on it. It's really beautiful, because you can see all of Gatlinburg from there. And then, we're just 15 minutes away from Dollywood. And Dollywood's great. I love to do that myself. I go every single year. I see your hat. You've got Dolly on your hat this morning.
Yeah.
That's really great. We're excited for all the new stuff that Dolly's going to do this year there. There's some new Dolly experience and all that kind of thing coming March 8th, I believe it is.
Yeah, that park is special for sure. But yeah, everything you mentioned, I've always said I feel like even the Space Needle kind of gets forgotten sometimes, but it's one of the few places you can get a 360-degree panoramic view of the city, So that's always enjoyable, and there's others, Anarchista and things, but yeah, Ober
Yeah, and the piece is
impressed
right
me a
across the
lot.
road.
Yeah, Ober impressed me a
Mm-hmm.
lot. You mentioning that, like some of the things that they've done to, some tired and outdated things that they had at the top, and they're starting to upgrade and repaint and different things. So it's really really cool to see that those changes, and I'll be excited to see where it goes in the future. But I always like to ask this question, locals, and this is the last question before we go into your top five. What's your favorite thing to do in your downtime there in Gatlinburg? Do you have like a
And
favorite hole in the wall place, or it doesn't have to be in Gatlinburg, anywhere there in the Smokies? A favorite restaurant you like to frequent? What's your go
well, it's
to when
funny.
you just need to unwind?
We've had the most. Our favorite restaurant for years has been the Pottery House. It's at the Old Mill in Pigeon Forge, and it is just
Excellent.
the best place. And that's been our
Yeah.
favorite for years. Well, all of a sudden, there's one called the Roma Table. It just opened about 3 weeks ago. It's in Sevierville, across from Walmart, and that is the best food. It is so good. The portions you get, and it's homemade pasta. Everything about it's
Hmm.
homemade, and it is so 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 good. There's lots of that. You got the Apple Bar, and you've got all kinds of really good things there.
Yeah.
The Gatlinburg, we've got the Pancake Pantry that's
Yeah.
usually got a
Sure.
line around the corner just to try to get in. But my favorite thing to do here is Greenbrier Park. It's out on 321. It's got a picnic area. You can swim. You can do trails and all that kind of thing. That's my favorite part of this area, is being able just to go up there and just enjoy the mountains. And there's not that
Mm.
many bear out there, all that kind of thing. Because up toward Gatlinburg, if you go up into the mountains this way, you might run into a bear, but out
Yeah.
that way you can go trout fishing,
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff. It's called Greenbrier, is just what we call
Okay.
it. It's just a beautiful area.
Do you have a favorite hike? Is there something that you go back to as far as hikes are concerned, or you just like being in nature?
Well, the ones that have the waterfalls, like Grotto
Oh yeah,
Falls and
yeah.
all
Grotto's great.
those, I like those. And I'll admit, I've not done it yet. I've not been to LeConte yet, but I'm going to do it. We've actually been talking about it here recently, and I want to hike up to the top of LeConte Mountain and
Yeah,
see that, because a lot of people do that, and it's coming. That's my goal, is to go up there.
yeah. There's a group from around where I live that go every year, and they had talked about bringing me along, and they go up there and they'll have like a little devotional at the top and stay overnight and eat breakfast there the next morning and then hike back down, and I think that's really cool. All right. So thank you for being with me. Now I'm going to move on to what we do every one of these podcasts when we have a guest on, is we have a top five. So Chuck is going to give us his top five. It's events there at Ripley's Aquarium. Is that correct?
Yeah, I do special events and parades and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. But as far as, there's a lot inside the aquarium that can be a lot of people's favorites. My favorite thing is the penguin parade. It's like I say,
Yeah.
1:15 every day. We do the penguin parade. We do sleepovers also, where you can actually stay all night inside the aquarium. We have one called Sleep with the Sharks, and you can sleep in the tunnel. You'll get a pizza party. You get an educational program. Sleep in the tunnel. Wake up to breakfast, and that's a really great thing. And then we have Pajama Party with the Penguins, where you can actually sleep in where the penguins are, not
So
with
cool.
them, but right outside their
Yeah.
tank, and you'll get the same treatment there. Then we have an adult one called Pints and Penguins, where it's just an adult sleepover, and those are really really good. But as far as the fifth one, I would say would be our special events that we do on the plaza. We have a Halloween event every single year on Halloween on our plaza, and everybody dresses up, and it's just really a good community thing. And those are my favorite top things around here to do. As far as just walking through the aquarium is just, you know, in
Yeah.
itself. But when we add a little bit extra in there with the sleepovers and the mermaid shows, I mean, I could go on to 8 or 9 different things, like, because the mermaid shows, kids love the mermaid shows.
Yeah.
And then you can have your picture taken with the mermaid too. So that adds on top of that.
It's so many different cool experiences. I was able to be there for one of the Halloween days, and man, the turnout for those is incredible. And I've seen it even when the weather isn't great,
Yes.
and the turnout is still incredible. Like, people will come out for that, and seeing all the kids in their costumes, and the businesses that come out to support as well. It's such a cool thing to experience. One last question I have for you. You have any tips and tricks for anyone wanting to have like the best experience that they could possibly have at the aquarium? As far as, is there, the best way of purchasing tickets? What do you recommend as far as days of the week? Is there anything that you would say, okay, to have the best experiences, this is what you would do?
Yes, whenever you come to our area, because I was born close to here, so I know the area pretty well. This is where we vacationed when I was little. But don't be in a hurry when you come up to our area, because sometimes traffic is pretty heavy. But just don't be in a hurry, but pre-plan as far as make sure Dollywood's open, because there's certain days that they aren't open. We're open every single day at Ripley's. I mean, even on my birthday, they're open. It doesn't matter. So, but you can do online tickets with us. And if it is a busy day, your ticket will go right to your phone, and that you just walk right in the door that way. Then there are specials. If you go on to Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.com, you can find some discount coupons on there at times and different deals. But I would say just take your time, do some pre-planning as far as your hotel, see where it's at, or if you get a cabin in the woods, just pre-plan. But also just don't be in a hurry. Just enjoy the time you've got here. And like we have an Aquarium Plus 2, because we have 10 attractions in Sevier County with Ripley's. And you can buy an Aquarium Plus 2 ticket, plus 3, and that gives you a big discount, and you don't have to do them all in one day. And we've got mini golf and a haunted house, the Believe It or Not museum. And then we also have a deal with the Sky Bridge, where you can get the Believe It or Not and Sky Bridge combo. Just like I say, pre-plan, and
sure.
And know that it's going to be, if different times of the year, like if you come right now, Dollywood's not open, but everything else is.
Yeah.
So you can, and right now is a great time to come down. Between January and March, into the spring, we slow down some, but not as much as we used to be. Over Gatlinburg is great to go to. It's going to be busy, so you can schedule your snow tubing, you can schedule your skiing, and say, hey, I'm wanting to go at 9:30, 10 o'clock. Just do all that kind of thing.
Awesome. Yeah, great tips. Don't pay full price for anything, right? Because there's bound to be coupons floating out there somewhere. Always grab a coupon book, but I really appreciate it. So you gave the website. Anything additional that you're wanting to plug as far as social media or anything else?
Well, yeah, just if you go to Ripley's.com, it shows all of our attractions.
Okay.
Because we've added, just in the last year, we've added go-karts. We've got a go-kart place now. We've got laser tag, 2 mini golfs, and then an indoor one on top of that. And that's just us. But there's lots of new things coming to town. We've got Jason Aldean's that just opened last year, and we've got Old Reds. We've got the I'm trying to think of. There's more and more things coming to the area too.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be surprised once you come off the 407 exit. And a lot of people don't know, if you come from, say, the Bristol area or the Asheville area, you're not going to go all the way to 407. You're going to come through Newport and up through the park that way, and it's a lot faster too going that way.
Oh, and we did that for the first time on our last trip, and it's a completely different experience coming in.
It sure is.
We really enjoyed that route for sure.
And the apple orchards, you'll pass by the apple orchards coming from that way, and that's a really nice experience too.
Yeah, it's so much beauty to take in, and 407. People are used to that because of the way that they are used to coming in, and you first see the mountains and
yes.
From that direction. But I'll say there's no bad way to come into the Smokies, because you're still coming into the Smokies no matter what. So, well, thank you for sharing and coming on the podcast with me. I've really appreciated it. If you're watching out there or listening to the podcast, be sure to comment your favorite Ripley's aquarium memories. So many people that I know that go to the Smokies routinely have been to the aquarium and absolutely love it. Comment those things down, and if you like the podcast, be sure to rate it 5 stars. I appreciate it. But Chuck, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you so much, and we're looking forward to seeing you next time you come down.
Appreciate it. Thanks again to Chuck for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it. He's a busy man, so the fact that he took some time out of his busy schedule to join me was awesome. If you're interested in purchasing some Ripley's tickets, there's a link down in the description. It'll take you right to some of their like combo passes. You come into the area and you know you're going to do multiple Ripley's attractions like most of us do. You're going to want to save some money. So you can go to that link directly and save some money. And if you can get your hands on one of their season passes, it's absolutely worth it. Alex and I got them one year and got our money's worth out of them just on the mirror maze alone. We would go in, run through it, come out, and do it again, and did it over and over again. But not just that. The Ripley's Putt-Putt. There's a couple locations for that. There's a couple of Ripley's Fun Zones. There's one in Gatlinburg, another one in Pigeon Forge. There's Ripley's Mountain Coaster. There's just so much to do. There's just so much to do that's specifically Ripley's, especially there in Gatlinburg. So be sure to check out all of the Ripley's attractions, but especially be sure to check out the aquarium. Best aquarium I've ever been to. I say that without any hesitation. Great aquarium. But that'll do it. This has been another podcast episode from the Great Smoky Mountains. We hope you have a great day. God bless.